What really happens to the mountains of food we toss into the trash once they vanish from our kitchens and restaurants, hidden away in trucks that haul them off into the night, leaving us to believe they've disappeared forever? But do they really? Deep inside landfills, those piles of wasted bread, soggy vegetables, half-eaten burgers, and expired milk cartons begin a secret, messy transformation that very few people ever see, because landfills are not open kitchens where you can walk in and watch the show. They're sealed pits, covered in dirt, pressed down with layers of garbage and shut tight from the outside world. Yet inside, food waste doesn't simply vanish. It breaks down in a way that carries massive consequences. At first, the air is thin down there, oxygen almost gone, so instead of rotting like it would on your backyard compost pile, it suffocates and begins to decompose in a slow, suffocated process that releases methane, a gas that is invisible and silent but more powerful than carbon dioxide when it comes to trapping heat in our atmosphere. And all of this is happening beneath our feet, in spaces we pretend not to think about. Picture a single apple core, harmless, dropped into a black trash bag, buried beneath mountains of other forgotten meals. In a few days, it becomes a slimy mess, then a part of a bigger chemical stew. And if you scale that to the billions of pounds of food wasted each year, it's like an underground engine, silently pumping out gas and leachate, dirty liquid that seeps through layers of garbage, mixing with rainwater and carrying toxins into the soil, and creating smells so foul, landfill workers describe it as a stench that clings to your clothes for hours. And here's the thing. Most people think food waste in landfills eventually becomes something useful, like compost. But it doesn't. Trapped without proper air, it doesn't turn into rich soil, it turns into sludge, and the methane it releases has to be captured by pipes that snake through the ground, carrying the gas up to be burned off in flares or sometimes converted into energy, though a lot of it still escapes. This cycle repeats endlessly, day after day, truck after truck, dump after dump. And what's more chilling is that food waste in landfills doesn't just disappear in a year. It can sit there for decades, layers of pizza crust and wilted lettuce stacked in plastic tombs, barely breaking down because of the lack of oxygen, meaning a sandwich you tossed out last summer could still be sitting there intact years later, wrapped in garbage, preserved like a strange time capsule of human carelessness. Imagine those layers piled up, forming an invisible city of wasted meals under the soil, each piece contributing to an unseen crisis. Because while food waste above ground is just about guilt and maybe money lost, food waste underground is about climate, water, and space. We are literally burying resources, energy, and money into the earth. And the more we bury, the more we create a hidden furnace that burns not with flames but with gases that escape into the air we breathe. Yet, inside this grim process, there are odd attempts at redemption. Landfills installing gas collection systems, using pipes to harvest the methane, trying to spin trash into power, and in some cases generating enough energy to run entire neighborhoods, turning waste into watts. But the truth is, it's only a fraction of the story, because the scale of food waste is too enormous to ever be fully contained, and so much still slips through, slipping into the atmosphere silently. And while compost piles and recycling bins offer an alternative story, the one inside a landfill is raw, chaotic, and permanent. Because once food enters that gate, it's locked into a cycle that cannot be undone. And the sad twist is this. Food waste is not only about trash, it's about hunger, resources, and a chain reaction that begins with something as small as a slice of bread and ends with global consequences. So the next time you scrape a plate into the bin, know this. That scrap doesn't vanish. It doesn't dissolve into nothing. It travels into the earth, joins a silent underground city of rotting meals, and becomes part of a story no one can see but everyone will feel. Because landfills are not graveyards for waste. They are engines shaping the air around us. Engines that start with one careless bite and end with a planet slowly changing under the weight of everything we thought was gone.